Okay, right. Thank you. I appreciate that. I was using all types of words. See, I be trying to cut the mic down while I'm still doing stuff in the background, because when the music playing, all that stuff like that, stream beginning, anything I do in the background still shows. So again, I was saying thank you for the bow tie compliment. It actually does match my horse and all that, you know what I mean? And it'll make sense later on, because I got a couple of tasks that I want you guys to help me with. I did a little work on the headshot today, and I finished up one of these logos, and I want you all to be able to tell me, which ones y'all like, and which ones I should use. I'm laughing, Jesus Christ. You talk about talking to myself. I was. That's how you know I've been busy up until the last minute. I don't even know that the mic not on. Plus, I ain't want y'all to, I got a bathroom right beside me, so I go to the bathroom. Y'all don't want to hear all that. All right, so again, a couple of things I want to talk about, and then we're going to do those tasks that I wanted to do with you all, and then we're going to wrap it up. We were supposed to have a live reading tonight, and it's interesting, so I guess I'm going to start talking about this before we get into the couple of things I do. So I did have a live reading scheduled tonight, and due to unforeseen girl, listen to me. Listen, blame it on my mind and not my heart, because I forgot all about that. Well, at least now we got it together. I just been, working and processing and thinking and all that and adjusting, and I've been doing trainings on cost allocation and federal grant process and all types of stuff, and then dealing with other people's problems, like, you know what I mean, holding space for other people, all this stuff. I just haven't had the time to, you know what I mean, get things. Sinclair, girl, we was talking about you the other day. Ali and myself, I promise you, we were at my college roommate's house, and your name came up. So I'm glad to see you on here. And we talked good things about you, Sinclair. Well, Clinton. So, he go by Ali now, but Clinton. So we talked about you. Girl, you I'm sorry. Girl, you already know. Sinclair, girl, you got me on here embarrassing myself. But yeah, all good things. We talked about the beach trip. We talked about amazing. We gave you a compliment because you've always had amazing skin, stuff like that. But I actually talked about that time when you were stunting with your glasses and you only had that one earpiece and you ain't give a damn. Girl, you were interestingly one of the most confident people I've ever met in my life. And I love it about you. So it was all love. So Clinton sends his well wishes, as well as my college roommate who does not know you. But thanks for stopping through for a little bit. We just be wilding out. And Sinclair, if you ever want me to read your energy, man, just holler at me, man. We'll work that out. Something else that slowed me down for being a little late, trying to update this, trying to be consistent with it. I got a fan that just girl, always, Sinclair. I promise we love you. I got a fan that's just they be nat me, making sure I do stuff like this and keep it up to date. So this week's is have patience with all things, especially yourself. Again, we were I got sidetracked. One of my long-term friends showed up, so got a little sidetracked. We're gonna talk about a few things. Had okay, so you have options. If you would like to join the live, there is a link at the top of the post, and you are more than welcome to join the live. or if you would like to have it done privately, you have to send me a message after the show. But I would love to read your energy. It'll be my pleasure. What's up, Scrappy? Good to see you here, Scrappy. You bull, you slowing down, girl. When you gonna let me get you tapped in on that energy? Glad to have you here, girl. I appreciate you as always, as always. But I was supposed to do an energy reading, and due to unforeseen circumstances, I'm not gonna do it. I mean, well, we can't do it. And it's funny because, last week we talked a little bit about dating, and the dating idea came up in my men's group meeting on Monday. And one of the things that we wound up talking about is how when you are on this healing path and you cleaning yourself and all that, how attractive that is. And not necessarily physically attractive, but it is emotionally attractive and it is spiritually attractive. And because we are attracting in a different way or at a higher vibration, we have to really be mindful of that, right? And the wild thing about this is on this healing path, I really get to see a lot of because now, although I'm a part of the dating scene, I have this fluidity where I can step back and look at it from a whole. And one thing it is, I remember I read this book, Celestine Prophecies. And one thing it talked about is people's control mechanisms. And in dating, there are a ton of control mechanisms that people use, and they usually are based on fear. So one new dynamic that I have to be aware of is people trying to use energy and Reiki as a way to control or get to me. And the thing about it is, so I think sometimes people will say that they want a reading or they want to learn more about Reiki because they found me attractive, or they do find me attractive. And I don't mean physically, I mean energetically and spiritually. And the thing about that, I think sometimes people use that thinking that that is going to be something to make me motivated to see them in a different light. But we talk about it all the time, man. I don't get caught up on people's intentions. Only thing I really worry about at this point is outcomes and using your healing as a way to get closer to me or to whatever you're trying to do is not going to have the effect that you think it is, because I'm not that, for lack of better words, I'm not that as invested in your personal healing. I'm invested in my personal healing, and I'm invested in helping you to heal. But if you don't find the time, or if I wind up making myself, so what winds up happening is you tell me you want it, I'll make myself available and I'll be a little flexible. But at some point, I realize that maybe this is not what you really want, and the availability and the flexibility goes away. You know what I mean? Because anybody who really wants it, they follow through. I've had people who only reached out, and the only thing they wanted was an energy reading. I ain't heard from them no more, and that was good. But part of that, I think, with the energy reading tonight, I don't think the intentions were necessarily clear. So we'll see. And I've been trying to get this person to do energy reading for 2 weeks. So we're not gonna worry about that. But that is what adjusted the show a little bit. So one of the first things I really do want to talk about is how blessed we are. And something that I'm noticing, that people are using their blessings as a weapon to judge other people's value, which is very interesting. So so during the course of this week, just living my daily life, I seen a post in one of the groups that I'm in, and it mentioned something about don't let nobody who doesn't have a passport tell you you're ugly, right? So I get the intentions of that, right? It's supposed to be motivational. It's supposed to be all those things. But remember, I'm not worried about intentions. I'm worried about outcomes. The outcome of that is very, 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 very short-sighted. So what I'm finding out is people are really, and I online date and I see it all the time. If you don't have a passport, don't reach out to me. Passport this, passport that. People are going crazy over passports. And I really do have to admit I'm probably a little biased because I've had a passport since I was 2 months old. Passports is not that big a deal to me. You know what I mean? I can always tell who is new to having a passport because that's all they talk about. And when it comes to people who have had passports all their life, you'll never hear it up in that conversation, which is interesting enough because the people who have had passports all their life do not use passports as a tool to judge value because they know having a passport your entire life is a blessing. So it goes on to talk about how if a person doesn't have a passport, their value is less, right? And I made a comment. And the comment was, do you know that 80% of the people in this world, 80%, that means every single country, every single city, every single province, every single everything, all of us, the billions of people, 80% of those people will never, ever, ever, ever step 1 foot on a plane. 1 foot on a plane, period. They will never be on a plane. So if you have been on a plane once, you are blessed. You are literally in the top 20% of travel. Airline travel, let me be specific. Some people travel a whole bunch and they just don't use airplanes. But you are literally in the top 20% of the world. Pat yourself on the back. If you've ever been on an airplane, I don't care if you got on an airplane once when you was 3 years old. You know what I'm saying? That's a blessing, right? And then when you take the 20% of people who have actually been on the airplane at least once, how many of them have a need for a passport? Most travel is national, it's within your own country. How many of them have a need for a passport? They don't. And the wild thing about it is now that people are getting passports, they're looking at the 80%, the 90% of people as though they no longer have value. Or because they don't have a passport, their value is less. And that's bananas. And that's one of those situations where you need to take a pause, step back, and be thankful for your blessings because you are probably in the top 10% of the world. And when you're going down, that's one thing that I do miss about school and high school. That stuff does give you a perspective on where you sit in the world. So you know, well, not in the world, but where you sit in classes. So you know if you're in the top 10% or you know if you're in the bottom 10%. And when we were in school, all of that really didn't matter. And it shouldn't matter now because one thing you can do is get a passport. Do not use your blessings to find the value of other people. And another example of this, and this one came up in our men's group, and it was a very, 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 very interesting one because the energy that one of the guys in the group was dealing with is one I come across a bunch. And it's one of the reasons why I got Mother Rose Hoppe and all the stuff they're dealing with the mother. You know what I mean? So dude got on the call and he is frustrated, right? We all have been children before. So he's at this point where your parent still sees you as a child, but you are an adult. They still approach, the way they give you advice, the way they talk to you, a lot of things, they still see you as a child, right? And then you have to create this new boundary for yourself and your parent relationship and your father, son, mother, son, whatever the dynamic is. But you, the child, you have to create a new boundary in which your parent can respect you as more than this their child, but also as an adult who makes their own decisions and is affected by the things the parent does and says, right? So my homeboy at this point, and he tired of that dynamic where he's still a child and he's in his 30s. So he's a grown man. Like it ain't like he 18 when we all thought when we were grown and we weren't, but he's actually a grown man. And he's going through the frustrations of how the relationship with his mother is affecting him and making him feel. And he's venting with us. And one of the things that came across, which we understand, he's just venting, is the frustration. I know this man enough that he loves people, and especially women. But sometimes when you're dealing with the heartbreak or the grieving process, you do say things, you emotionally say things. So he was saying, like, sometimes the relationship with his mother makes him not want to trust Black women, right? And we get that. You know what I mean? If you have enough traumatic events from one demographic, it is hard to feel comfortable and safe with that demographic again, right? So, and all the men are on the phone discussing how, to address this process and how to be emotionally balanced and all these things. And one of the guys came on there and he admitted, a close friend of mine, and he was like, well, I'm not really saying much because the interactions and the point that you all are having with your mom, I didn't experience that. So his mom died when he was a child. And then he had another mom who I've known him since we were probably 12. And I've only known his mom, his second. I ain't never meet his first mom, his birth mom. And I met his second mom, but she was always 6. Hey, Sherry, glad to have you in here. We're just talking a little trash, and then I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you, but y'all going to help me make some decisions in a few. So glad to have you here. Hopefully them kids ain't drive you crazy, which I know they did a little bit. But, he was talking about how he never had that interaction with his mama. He never had that conflict. He doesn't have all those experiences, whether they are good or bad, for lack of better words. Sherry, I told you, you got to start bullying them kids, man. They take themselves too serious. You know what I mean? Them half a cup of milks, short on the crackers, you know what I mean? Tap their little foot when they walk, make them wonder. Listen, don't tell nobody I said that. That's just between us, okay? That's just between us. So the people ain't watching right now, they don't know I just told you to bully them children. Hey, Sherry, good thing I'm not doing classroom training anymore. So you won't have to worry about me going to any teachers or any programs to tell the teachers just bully them kids. They actually got me in finance, which is funny. This is probably the second time in my life that I was like, yo, y'all really want me to deal with money? And the first time was when I was working at TJ Maxx. No doubt. I just got a message. Somebody's going to get an injury. But I was working at TJ Maxx, and I swear I was so ignorant at TJ Maxx that I had a fake name tag they called Mr. Peterson. So whenever people would go try to tell that guy back there, Mr. Peterson, and my managers, they'd be like, we don't have a Mr. Peterson that works here. So at some point they figured out that I was Mr. Peterson. And do you know they rewarded me for my bad behavior? They promoted me to the cash office. A high school kid, like literally, I'm still in high school, like going to school every day. And these fools had me in there making their bank deposits every single day. And I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? But overall, these fools were smart because I wasn't finna go to jail for the little $300 that I had. I mean that we the deposit or whatever the deposit was, it wasn't enough to run away and disappear on. It was like shit, whatever I was gonna do with this money, I was gonna have to come back to work tomorrow. So don't steal, but I ain't gonna lie. I did hit him up a little bit. So since it's so many years ago, it was changed. So we had this change counting machine and it'll count the change and then sometime it'll leave like a little penny or something in there. I take that penny and move on with my life. And I think that is, I don't know if I told y'all the story about when I played football. And I had like $50 worth of change. Like, y'all, I was just hanging out over the time. I worked at TJ Maxx for a minute. So over the years, I worked at, if you from Charlotte, I worked at the university TJ Maxx when it first opened. Like I was one of the dudes that's opening the boxes and all that stuff. So I got $50 worth of change in my pocket from working at TJ Maxx. And I'm literally at school with this change every single day. Just chang-a-lang, chang, chang, chang. And now that I'm old and I think back on it, I went to, if you're from Charlotte, you'll know my school. I went to Garinger. Garinger always been lit. Did nobody harass me about having all this change and chang-a-langing everywhere I go, period. Until one time at football practice. We had these, lockers or whatever, but the bottom where you sit is storage, where you can lift up and put stuff in the bottom, right? Ground and dropped my whole $50 of change down in there. And I'm just being peanut, walking around, joking, wilding out, but I left my little lid up. So anybody that look in there could see the change. Like, wasn't nobody gonna steal my chain. Like, I did it because I knew wasn't nobody gonna steal my chain. Like, it just wasn't gonna go down like that. And that's partly not because the people that I played football with weren't capable. That just wasn't the kind of vibe that we wasn't stealing from each other in the locker room. That's wasn't going on. So as I'm wilding out, my homeboy come up to me. I go back and sit back down a little bit. My homeboy like, hey, Nut, let me borrow 50 cents. Man, I slammed that thing down so fast and was like, I ain't got it. Knowing good and hell well, I got about $50 worth of change that I've been carrying everywhere. My man just looked at me like this. And he was like, man, I seen that $50 of change you got in your life. I swear I just laughed it off. But you know what I didn't do? I still ain't give that 50 cents. I don't know what it was with me about change, but I ain't played no games with change. Probably because when we was pee-wees, one of my homeboys, we used to his Family Dollar on the east side. And used to be able to stomp the button numbers and all the change from the drink machine would come out. So I went to Cochran too. So we got interested. I went to interesting schools in Charlotte. So we used to walk to school or whatever. Get up to that Family Dollar. One day my homeboy went to kick that button. Not 1 cent fell out that machine. But what did show up is the police. So they call us trying to break the machine and get change. So ever since then, I'm like, yo, I'm just going to make sure I got the change so I ain't got to deal with police over 50 cents. All right, so sorry, we got a little sidetrack. You know I've had an eventful life, and my stories can be, All right, so back what we were saying, the dude was talking about how, the interactions with his mom. You see how we try to loop this back around? Because last time y'all got me all the way off task, but we're not going to do that tonight. So he was talking about how the relationship with his mom sometimes makes him feel as though, you know what I mean? He doesn't want to deal, like, and it's wild that it makes it hard for him to deal with black women as a whole. You know what I mean? And this is he's not the only person that I know that a lot of people will take their parental relationship and apply that to everybody, which is an interesting subject. So as we go through all that and my homeboy starts talking about how he's never had that opportunity because his mom died, it makes us all realize the blessing that we have, right? Whether it's good or bad, happy, sad, excuse me, oh my God, I hope that wasn't too loud in the mic. But we have the luxury and the blessings of having interactions with our parents, right? And I even talk about my father being partly he more disappearing acts than yeah, he just wasn't necessarily there. But even when I think about my life, I still have memories and stories. Even the memories of him not being there is a part of my life, and it helps to shape me and it helps make my decisions on being who I am. So when my man was having these difficulties with the relationship with his mother, he was basically taking that blessing, good or bad, and using it to gauge the value of other women, right? I get it. And that's just as bad as gauging the value of someone based on a passport. You know what I mean? And I remember talking to him and I told him, because as people, we deal with that, period. And I told him what one thing that I always tell myself that helps me to stay in line and appreciate the blessing is even when you interact with the amount, I'm more than most men and people, period, not even just men, but women. I've had the ability to interact with more women than most of anybody, right? And the thing about that is, even with the amount of women that I have interacted with, it really, I don't even, it's not even close to 1% of the women in this world. So even though I've had some interesting interactions with women of all races, good and bad, I still have not interacted with 1-2% of the world's women. So what winds up happening is, which is what he was doing, is overvaluing your experience and applying it as it is true to everything. But your experience is minuscule, minuscule, minuscule. This man can live 50 years and he'll never come in contact with 100,000 women unless he does something like what I did. You know what I mean? Or he becomes a star. Or the dude working at McDonald's, the dude that you see working as the mechanic, he ain't gonna meet or interact with 100,000 plus women. You know what I mean? So it's not even a percentage to even value like that. And what he was doing, like I said, he was taking the blessing of having a mom and using that experience with his mom to value other people. And it wasn't until my homeboy said he don't even have that experience to even be able to ascertain value. And it all made us step back and realize that we may be overvaluing our experiences. So, okay. So one of the comments say they had the similar conversation that we're talking about now with one of their best friends who was having an issue or difficulty with doing the housework for their aging mom. You know what I mean? And I'm sure a lot of that difficulties comes from previous interactions, good or bad. You know what I mean? And she's in the face of those interactions, those memories, those, lack of better words, those ghosts that never disappear. You right? And I appreciate that you gave her a new perspective in telling her that those acts of service are ways to honor her mom, and she needs to change her perspective and consider it a blessing. See, the bad thing, which is going to be difficult, is period, especially if you have more, for lack of better words, more negative experiences than positive experience. It may be difficult to be able to ascertain that's a blessing, right? But the other thing you want to add to the conversation when you're talking to her is parents are human. They have their own crosses to bear. And unfortunately, one of the things we're going to talk about that we become, I'm going to use the previous word, we become victims of their experiences as well. And one of the things that one of our responsibilities as children is to do a little bit better and try to break those family curses. So we want to make sure we have more positive interactions with our child. And the thing about it is, even with those best intentions, your child is still going to see some of the stuff that you've done as traumatic, right? But that means you can have a conversation and have a space. Jackie, I miss y'all too. Um, yeah. So one of the comments say they miss our therapy sessions. So while we do these lives, a lot of times people that I have been blessed to experience and been blessed to, and I use this loosely, lead in my life join the live. And they don't always stay, but they do come in and ascertain some of they do come in and, for lack of better words, co-sign some of the things that I'm saying, because if they didn't have those experiences, they actually witnessed it with me. They've seen some interesting things happening to me as a male in a female dominated field. You know what I mean? And they also had the opportunity to find a different value in me and in men by interacting with me. So, but Jackie, I miss y'all. I promise you I miss y'all too. I actually, you know what? I actually will be out that way. I don't know when. I feel like it's next month. I got some work to do out there, and I'll be out that way a week. When I figure it out, I'll let y'all know, and we'll all try to link up and go grab something to eat or something like that. I forget. It might be March. Come after February. Yeah, it might be March. Anyway, so ultimately, be careful and take a step back. And I promise I'll do once I promise I'll let you know as soon as I figure it out. Take a step back and realize that some of the things that have become normal to us are actually blessings. And then also make sure that you aren't using your blessings to find the value in others. Because blessings don't rain on everybody all the time. And you may be blessed in ways that other people are not, but that doesn't make them less valuable, especially over a passport. If you are judging people based on a passport, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say it live. You are childish. There are bigger things in the world when the person can go and get a passport. If I've never had a need for a passport, then I never had a need for a passport. And this is the wild thing. I have never had a need for a passport since I was born. Now most of my international travel. After that, most of my travel is national. And then also, if you're American, one of the most expensive places to travel from is America. So take your blessings for having that disposable income to internationally travel as a blessing, but don't use that as a tool to chop other people down because they don't have that same opportunity. All right. So, yeah. One more thing I want to talk about is this idea of victims. And it came up with the conversation that we were having with Homeboy was having a little issue. And one of the statements were, a lot of times with these interactions and these events and things like that, we don't have the control or the power that we want to, right? So if I'm a kid and my mom's an alcoholic, I don't really have the authority or the power to be able to address that, do something about that. Now, you're an adult. And if you have a parent that's like that, you still can't do anything about that. And unfortunately, which is why I pay attention to outcomes instead of intentions, is because the outcome of that dynamic is you wind up being a victim. right? And it's an unfortunate thing because those experiences where we were a victim, stays with us for a long, long, long time. And one of the frustrations that my homeboy was dealing with was that victim. You know what I mean? We talk about victim mindset. We talk about victim blaming. We talk about victims in various different ways, right? But one of the things that I never thought about it came from one of the men in that group. And he said it was ironic that the spirit had moved him to start doing some research on that word victim prior to the meeting. I mean, prior to our meeting on Monday. And he found out some interesting things that I never really thought about that. And one of the main things that he shared with us is the difference. He's told us that we need to stop looking at ourselves as victims of these circumstances, victims of these events, victims, period. Because, let me look to make sure I say it correctly. He said, because generally victims are people who cannot recover, right? And I never really thought about it like that because although we put the context of victim in recovery, you know what I mean? But it is like victims cannot recover, like the victim of assassination. You know what I mean? He's not recovering. And he said the one thing that we may want to start calling ourselves or looking at it is, excuse me, as a casualty, because casualties have the space to be able to recover. And when you think about it, a lot of times when they talk about casualty of wars, when they do a very clear differentiation between those who can recover and those who cannot. You know what I mean? So also I say this to you all because I want you all to start thinking of yourself as less of victims of these circumstances and these events, which you are, but casualties, because you are in the process of recovering from these experiences and these events. And that in itself is another blessing, right? So as you're thinking about it again, the perspective, do a little processing to see if something like that resonates with you. But I know for now, for myself, because we big on language as well, uh, I've definitely been a casualty in several other people's things that I don't have any say so. Sheriff, you still on that, girl? I know you was a casualty as well of the previous place you worked. I ain't gonna say that because I don't even want to give them any any free pub that stinking place. I'm about to say too much too. Stop. Yeah, interesting. I know they struggling now, so good luck to them. All right, so maybe this might be a short show. All right, so we're gonna wrap this up, and I'm gonna go to the next thing I want to do with you all. Yeah, right. Shit, I'll tell you about it later. Hey, they struggling SKRUGG. Struggling. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna go on to the next thing, and I need y'all opinions. So there's some of it still in the process. Excuse me. The comment says they have some 411 yesterday. If you're new to watching me, you gotta forgive me. Because sometimes people come in the comments and they know me. And we talk about things that we know. And we laugh and joke. You stay here long enough, you're gonna know me as well. And you'll know the people in the comments. They come in and be like, hey everybody, because I have people who support me regularly. And since we're speaking on blessings, that is my blessing. Because since we've got, like I said, since we've gotten content creator, rising content creator, we ain't lost it. The program is growing nicely. We even now, if you've been here from the beginning, even now we getting more random people showing up to just try to get a reading. So we doing good right now. All right, so I have been working on a. Oh, did I go too far? Wait a minute. Don't pay that no attention. Act like you didn't see that. Okay. Okay. Yes. So this is where we want to start. So, if you can, you know what? I probably should have did a poll, but you see, I was already late, running behind trying to make some of this stuff pop. So, if you can, in the comments or something like that, I want you to tell me which I have 3 logos and I think 3 headshots. We're going to go through the 3 logos. I'm going to tell you a little bit about them and you tell me which one you like best. So this is actually the first logo that I created for whatever this is, and business-wise. And the intentions of this logo was because when I started this process, it was supposed to be 3 of us. It's supposed to be me, my homeboy, and then a girl, a woman from our tribe, our Reiki class or whatever. And so we saw ourselves as, spades, clubs, and hearts. And we were going to market ourselves as 3 wise healers, which you can see, that's what it says. But one of the things that forces a need for me to adjust the logo is 3 wise healers does nothing, for lack of better words. So when it comes to 3 wise healers, it's just me, my homeboy, and the third person on our from our tribe. They do nothing as far as this group. We sat down, we had this whole plan that we were gonna work together. They, as a matter of fact, the only thing that they done is started dating each other. So, and I think we've talked about it before. Yeah, I think I was just a tool used for them to get together. You know what I mean? So I don't want to use this logo, so don't worry about it. We won't be using that. This is the first logo that we'll be changing from. Right. Hey, girl, I got feelings and thoughts about that. And the funny thing is, if I bring it up, both of them would deny. But then if I ask them, so what have you done? What have you done as far as support our 3 wise healers? I mean, they don't watch no shows. They don't share. They don't promote. They don't do nothing but touch on each other. So we gonna move on because 3 wise healers does not exist. So one of the first logos. Okay. So this is my classy logo, I guess, for lack of better words. We'll look at that. With this one, I was going with gold. You know what? I should have asked. Must have been the heart on the logo. No, I was not. I'm gonna go back. What else you think? Well, I wasn't the heart. So that only leaves spades and clubs. So either I was a spade or the club. And I tell you, I was the club. The woman was the heart, and it made sense because she's devotional, she's emotional, and she heart represents her the best. And my homeboy was a spade. And for a lack of better words, it was an upside down heart. You know what I mean? And and that's kind of his thing. Like, she is full of love, but he is out trying to push his love out to the world, to everybody. And me, I'm the club. Just because I bang in the club. No, I'm joking. Not because I bang in the club, but because I had that 3-pronged approach: spiritual, physical, and mental. So yeah, good one. Good guess though. You know me, Kiki. I'm glad you can be here. You know me, so I know why you say heart. Heart's a good guess. Because I'm such a crybaby. But you also know I'm cold-blooded. Not everybody knows me as a heart. Some people knows me as you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. All right, so this is the gold one, which is classy. Like I said, I was going, my homeboy, I actually liked it. One show we was talking, and he came in on the comments. Yes, you do know both sides. Hey, now, Kiki, you doing too much. You weren't supposed to tell everybody how to show that listen, I'm a Pisces. So you know I'm sensitive about my so you know we have one Geminis get a bad rep about being bipolar, that dual personality. But I always understand Geminis because Pisces do too. There's two fish, one upstream. So we got one fish in the light and then one downstream. And we got one fish in the dark. So I like to live in the light, but occasionally I have to remind people of the dark. And don't nobody like my dark side. So, you know, we all have protective features and all that stuff. And that light dark stuff helps me tremendously as far as when it deals with energy, because it easily allows me to travel between light and dark to help people. Because some people are in the darkness, and if I don't have one foot in the darkness can be very scary, and I can't help people living in the dark. So, yeah. So this is my classic one, and like I was saying with my homeboy, he came in with that Soul Swami, and we've been rolling with it ever since. So the second one is the Soul Swami, classic black and gold, and let me see what the third one was. The third one. Oh, where's that? Wait a minute. Oh no, we don't have the third one. Give me a second. Let me see. See what we can do. Give me a second. I want to get that third headshot. So not headshot, but the third logo, because I actually do love that third logo. So it's important. Oh, there you go. It's in there. Hold on. So don't pay attention to these headshots. We're gonna go and this one is the third logo. So here we go. Hopefully you all can see that. I had to make sure it was still on there. Make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, so one of the reasons I'm asking you all to help, because y'all have been a part of this process from the get-go. So I want y'all to, continue to be a part of the process. And then it's the third one. And I do have to explain where the haircut come from, because I sent this to a friend and they was like, I love it, but what does the haircut come from? Okay, so if you know me, I'll never forget. Okay, so this goes better into a story. So I remember my pops. So when we talk about Jerry curls and S curls, and people having to post or see pictures of that. And I can always deny that I never had one because there's no proof. But now after I tell this story, the flat top is evidence that I had an S curl at least once. And I'll never forget, man, my daddy he thought he was the sexiest thing on this earth. So he put the little S curl in this kid. He had the little S curl afro, right? And I'll never forget, he was like, I wanted to be like my daddy. You know what I mean? And it was all good. I loved him. So I thought maybe I love Michael Jackson too. So I thought if I get the S curl, maybe I get a little hang time and not the S curl afro, right? So my pops give me this S curl, and you know what I got? The S curl afro. And I'll never forget, we stood in that mirror after he got finished and looked at each other, and I looked like a mini him. I immediately went outside and had one of my friends pour a bucket of dirt in my hair. And I just stayed outside all day. And I never forget when I came back home. My pops was so mad. He was like, I just got your hair done. If you could have came in, maybe I could have saved it. And I was like, see, I ain't want you to save it. That's why I stayed outside all day. And then after that, he took me to the barber shop and I got a flat top. And this was I had a flat top since first grade. So I got that flat top in the first grade, and I did not cut that flat top to the 10th grade. So flat top is, oh my God, such a pivotal part of my life and my growth experience. So there you go. That's where the flat top come from. 1, 2, 3. I got 1 for 3, so I love 3 too. I'm biased though. Biased. All right. So cool. The third, now we also gonna work on these headshots. Let's see what you got going on. Since you voting, we gonna check you. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, so I feel like I need to do some work to them a little bit. This is my first headshot. And I'm trying to upgrade from this, do something a little different. Because real talk, this lady gave me hell. I was having so many problems with the tie on this day. And a lady named Jackie, something about Jackies. I meet a lot of them. Jackie was like, it's that, she took to the side and she was like, it's that cheap ass tie. And that is a cheap tie that I got. I got that tie from one of them one of the little cheap sets that you get. It covered the tie, whatever. That tie does not feel like any other tie I have. All right, well, there's a vote for 3 and a vote for 2. Anybody else want to get in? That's on the logo. I'm going to show them again. So if you want to get in, like I said, I'm biased. I think I may use both in various things. This is one. And this is one. So it's one. Well, we're not using one anymore. So don't worry about that. There's 2. The Soul Swami. And then it's 3. Boop, 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 boop. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Now back to these. So I want to update from that. This is one of my headshots. Pretty cool. I got issues with the cheap tie. And I don't know. I kind of feel like it don't fully reflect me. I don't know what's going on with my hair. Sometimes my hair be wilding out. Sometimes I can get waves. Sometimes I just want to be straight. So yeah, my hair just whatever it wants to do, it does. You know what I mean? So I'll go with it. Then I don't know what I'm doing with this one, but I'm thinking this. Okay, so I have to have a bio for my consultant position and all this other stuff, and it has to go up on federal web pages and all that stuff. And I feel like this one makes me look like a professor, and I don't want to look like a professor per se. Of course, this one definitely needs a little more editing, but think about it. And then the last one. Wait a minute, why I feel like I'm missing something? Okay, yeah, no. So it's 1, 2, 3. And this third one looks extra bright. Like you can see the light reflecting off my greasy nostrils. Listen, I'm glad one of my friends was an esthetician, because I'm one of those people who have oily skin, but it's flaking as well too. So you like the second one? Was that okay, so we tied. Oh, Kiki voted for 2. Is that the gold? So no, we not. So 2 for the gold and 1 for the edit the second headshot, and you like that one better? All right. Okay. Yeah, I could relayer. I plan on relayering it or whatever, so I won't be sitting on top of the circle like that. It'll look more like the other one. You like the third logo, so we tied up with the logo. So I tell you what, good to know that those logos are good. I'm gonna figure out different ways to use it. I'm gonna think about it. But if you ask me, um, I like the third one. The third one was the one I like because of the flat top and the glasses. That's just me. I could adjust the colors. I was thinking about trying to combine the gold and that blue. I mean, combine that picture and make it gold. So I'll probably try that and see, bring it up to y'all again, see what y'all think. You know what I mean? Um, First headshot, Kelly. Why you trying to have me out here looking like a goddamn school teacher? Oh my God. Okay, Kelly. Thank you very much. I'm glad you could be here. Hey, Kelly, you want to come on next week and have me read your live? I know you tried to log on that one day, read your energy, and I ain't even see the notification because I probably didn't even have. You know what? I don't think I got it on now. So if somebody is actually trying to join, ee, I don't have it on. Hold on one second. Let me make sure I turn. Hey, today has been that day. So hey, Lo Siento people. Lo Siento. Now we back on to, oh no, we back on here. So, valid, because I am a professor. I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. So I still use it. Like that's on my Instagram and all that stuff. I want to have several headshots. So I'm going to edit the other one, not on my Instagram. That's my LinkedIn and stuff like that. So I'm going to edit the other ones and we'll work on. Oh my God, Kelly. So disappointed in you. Oh my God. Man, listen, at this point, I'm a master in a lot of things. I done did my 13 years. 13th letter of the alphabet is M. M stands for master. And it's funny, before, well, not even before that. I remember I studied mathematics before I went to college. And I had to have AAA since I started driving. First car I ever had, I locked my key in the car with the car running. So we knew. So I'm in college. I broke my key in the lock. Had to call the the locksmith to come out there. And since we outside talking, I just started asking them questions. I'm like, so how do I become a locksmith? And he goes through this pretty much as apprenticeship and 12 years. And then by that 13th year, you can be a real locksmith. And 13 is a master locksmith. So master barber is 13, master anything. You still can't log on. All right. Yeah, that's crazy. So I don't know what's going on. So what we'll do, I don't know what's going on. Don't worry, we're gonna figure it out. I'm gonna send you the link personally, and then when next week come or whenever you want to get on, just use the link that I send you, and we see how that works. Say join through FB Live. Oh, you you telling her how to do it? Okay, Liberty can tell you how to do it. She's done it before. She's the only person that's probably been successfully came from the live and then was on the show. So I'll stay on a little bit longer. I'm done with everything I want to talk about. But if you want to try, no, we'll try later. We won't force everybody else to see us work this out. But it should work. Like, hold on, where my phone at? All right, we're gonna see. Since we sitting here, I'm lying. We're gonna multitask. Let's see. So if I click this link, what happens? All right, Kelly. So when you click that link, sometimes it says the it's probably best to just copy that link and open it in an external browser because the link never works. I don't understand why. Like literally, when I click the link, it told me it just says joining, or then it says webcam could not be detected. And I know iPhones have that problem a lot, right? So for me, I can just click the three dots on the top right hand corner and then open an external browser, and it works perfectly. Outside of that, you probably want to copy the link if you can. Oh no, copy the link and then open it in an external browser, and that would work too. Oh, well. Kelly, you crazy girl. Oh my God. Cause you are. No doubt. So yeah, so we're not gonna do it now because I already did my hour. But mess with me next week because the person who was supposed to come today swear they're available next week, but that's what they told me last week. Uh it's funny because as soon as they told me they was gonna do it, I told another my friend I ain't believe they was gonna do it. So they ain't let me down. So check it out and we'll go next week. If not, I'll just ramble on about something else and show y'all the updates to the logo and stuff. All right, again, to recap what we talked about, be careful with using your blessings as a weapon, whether they are good, bad, or indifferent. And the example was the passport. We not judging people on the fact that they have a passport because we are blessed to have passports. Remember that we are trying to work on our language and view ourselves differently. We are no longer victims. We are casualties in the process of recovering. So we're not victims. And it's a tie for the logo. And Jesus Christ. Kelly won the first headshot. So we go with the first headshot, y'all. Instagram, hopefully you enjoyed. I don't know what it looks like. I'll probably do some editing because I'm sure it looks a mess on Instagram. It does. I have to, I got to make sure I do the show and set up the dynamics for Instagram as well. So next week, it was our first time on Success. All right, I appreciate you. I appreciate your support. I am about to go smash. I made some blue cheese macaroni and cheese yesterday and a turkey breast and some black beans, and I'm about to destroy all of that. If you never had blue cheese macaroni and cheese, it is the bomb. So maybe I'll share my process. One of my friends told me I need to start sharing more of my videos and cooking and stuff like that because I'll be here burning for real, for real. All right, appreciate y'all. See you next week on Thursday. Remember Thursday nights, we got the book club. I forgot what we're reading because that's what my brain has been today. If you can't make it Thursday, we'll see you next Tuesday for me and Kelly going live. All right, y'all. Thanks for your support.